Hello everyone, welcome back to All About the Sound, Making Learning English Easier with the 3P approach. We've already spoken of two of the P's in the 3P approach. We did several presentations on phonemic awareness, and we've also done several presentations on phonological awareness. Now we're moving on to the third P, and probably the most important P in our approach, and that is phonics. Phonics involves not only listening to the sounds, the phonemes that we're hearing and trying to use, but it also involves representing those sounds with the letters of the alphabet, letters or letter combinations. And we've already spoken briefly about consonant sounds in our phonemic awareness and vowel sounds in our phonemic awareness. Now we're going to look at the letters that represent those sounds. We're also going to look at the beginning, middle, and ending of word parts. Do you remember our apartment analogy? The apartment in an apartment building is the word itself. And in the word, we have several rooms, or we may just have one room, but in most cases, we have more than one room. We are going to look at each word room, word part, syllable. Remember, they're all used interchangeably to mean the same thing. And we're going to look at the beginning of each word part, the middle of each word part, and the ending of each word part in both our encoding, which is the building of the word, and our decoding, which is the breaking down the word. So word work is going to be something we're going to be focusing on in phonics. So, are you ready to begin? Let's move on to this wonderful section of phonics. So we're talking about phonics. And phonics, again, is the third tier of the 3P approach, the last tier, but probably the most important P. And so it's going to take us several chapters if you are reading my book. And again, I'm not asking you to purchase the book, but if you do happen to have it, it will cover chapters 5, 6, 7. Okay? Phonics. But if you don't have the book, just listen along. So that phonics takes up most of our 3P approach because we're going to use it for our writing, okay, and our spelling, not just for how we are listening to sound and producing sound through pronunciation. So phonics is probably the biggest P in the 3P approach. So what is phonics? Whereas phonemic and phonological awareness is all about the sound, phonics goes beyond sound. Phonics goes beyond sound. It goes beyond what we are hearing. In phonics, we go beyond sound to the letters that represent that sound. I have not yet introduced you to the alphabet for a reason. I wanted you to become very familiar with phonemes and sound and see the importance of sound in language. But now, because we're moving on to phonics, we are going to learn all about the Latin alphabet, the alphabet used in the English language. And that alphabet consists of 26 letters that we're going to get to know very well. So phonics then goes beyond sound to the letters that represent each sound. Phonics is all about connecting what you see with what you hear. So we are hearing the word or the sound, and now we're going to see it on the paper, represented by the letters that make that sound. So we're going to be introduced to a term that we briefly were introduced to in the beginning of the book, and that was graphemes. Graphemes. Now, whereas the basic unit of sound is the phoneme, and we've already spent a great deal of our time already learning about phonemes, the letters that represent that sound are the graphemes. So far, we've learned about three emes. We learned about the phoneme, which was our major consideration, being that this book is called All About the Sound, and phoneme is all about the sound. To graphemes, which are the letters that represent that sound. And we also spoke in Chapter 2 about morphemes, the basic unit of meaning of sound. So phoneme is the basic unit of sound. Graphemes are the letters or letter combinations that represent the phonemes. And our morphemes are the meanings, the basic unit of meaning in each word. So we are ready to go on again. So what will we be learning about phonics as we proceed through Chapter 5, 6, and 7? We are going to learn about the Latin alphabet, first of all, the 26-letter alphabet used in the English language. This alphabet consists of consonant and vowel sounds, and it is an alphabet or a set of letters used by many other languages. Latin, therefore, comes from Rome, Italian, French, Spanish, Romanian, as well as some of the Slavic languages like Croatian use a different version of the Latin alphabet. There are many languages that use the Latin alphabet. Each language that uses it may use it slightly different, but the letters will be the same. And so you will see that in English, what we use to represent our phonemes are the letters from the Latin alphabet. And we will go have a whole presentation just on the alphabet. We're also going to be listening and learning about the consonant and vowel sounds that make up the phonemes that are represented by the letters of the Latin alphabet. So we have 26 letters in the Roman alphabet. 5 and possibly 6, if you want to use Y, are vowels, and the rest are consonants. So the Latin alphabet is mostly made up of consonants. And do we remember back when we started on consonant and vowel sounds that we said the consonant sounds are like the walls that give structure to a word or word part. Again, we'll be breaking our words down into syllables and focusing on each word part or syllable. So the walls are the consonants that may surround a vowel, which is the heart of each word part or one syllable word. So the heart is the vowel and the walls are the consonants. Now, not every word part, as we discussed before, will have walls, but every word part or syllable must have a vowel sound. We will see then, when we're looking at the word, consonants possibly at the beginning and the end of each word part, but each word part, in order to be a syllable, must have a vowel within the middle. Remember, though, that syllables need vowels, but they do not always need consonants. So they may not have walls. They may be open. But we'll have a look at that as we proceed. So just remember that we'll be learning about how consonants and vowels help to make our word parts. And our word parts, of course, make our words. We'll also be looking at something called sound boxes. Again, all about the sound, and the use of the 3P approach is all about sound. So even though we will be now looking at the written word, connecting the graphemes with the sounds we're hearing, we still need to hear sound. Sound boxes are put around the sounds we are hearing in each word part or one syllable word. There may be more than one letter representing one sound. Okay, and we will learn about that as we proceed as well. A vowel sound may be made or written, represented by more than one letter as well. More than one vowel letter. So what we're trying to do as we look at the word is understand the sound that will be made by each of those letter conversations. And we will build a block around each sound. A word part, for example, may have 5 letters. We may be seeing 5 letters. We may be seeing 4 consonants, 2 at the beginning, 2 at the end, and we may be seeing a vowel in the middle. That doesn't mean that there are 5 sounds to that word. The 2 word consonants in the beginning may be something called a digraph, so they make 1 sound, and the consonants at the end may have a silent consonant within them. So that's getting kind of complicated, I know. I just want you to know that we will be putting boxes around the sounds we're hearing as we read the words, so that you begin to see that letters that represent the sound, the graphemes, may consist of a variety of numbers, variety of amounts, and letters themselves. So without getting too complicated, we're going to move on. I just want you to know that we'll be using something called sound boxes, and we'll have plenty of time to discuss this further and to work on what a sound box is. We'll also be doing our word work, and a word work involves looking at a word part or a 1-syllable word and breaking it down into a beginning, middle, and ending. We'll be looking at the beginning, what makes the beginning of the word part, which most often is consonants or consonant combinations. What makes the middle of a word part, which is often the vowel. And what makes the ending of a word part, which again is often consonants. Though every word part needs a vowel, not every word part needs a consonant. So some word parts or words will just be a vowel sound, like the particle a cat, It doesn't have consonants, but it is still a word because it has a vowel sound. So we will be discussing that and how that works in great detail as we proceed as well. So don't get over concerned. Don't try to understand everything I'm saying now. We will take these apart bit by bit and learn them in detail as we proceed. So we're going to move on and learn about phonics. And it is a detailed P of the 3P approach. It's probably one of our most important. It will take about 3 chapters in the book, all about sound, making learning English easier with the 3P approach to cover and perfect and practice. But we will do it step by step, and there will be plenty of opportunity to practice. If you have the book, you will see that I have provided plenty of review exercises. And as we proceed through these presentations, even if you do not have the book, there'll be plenty of opportunity to practice what you're learning. So just take it one step at a time, and in the long run, you will see that phonics will make learning English so much easier. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming presentations on phonics.